what had been reported to me, and I said, I can't comment on
No,
anything.
no, I agree. Yeah.
You know, and
Yep.
so at that time, when we did the investigation, what we found was that, you know, Mr. Stoner hadn't been the one to seen it. It was his student aide that saw it.
Well,
So
yeah,
it was
that
even
story
Mr.
keeps changing, and I've heard both, so whatever. The guy's a liar. It doesn't matter, right? He lied. He
But
said he saw it, and then he changed it.
Details, and I'm trying to give you the details.
Oh, okay, excellent. Perfect. Please do.
So during our investigation, it was found that the student aide was the one that had said that she saw Noah writing it on the board. But then when we were looking and spoke with all the other students, no one else could confirm that that's what that they had seen. So because of that, we're now in a situation where it's a he said, she said. I have nothing to prove that Noah wrote it. I have nothing to prove that he didn't write it. So then I have nothing to prove anything.
Yeah.
So then therefore it is unfounded.
Sure.
So that why there is no details to provide you because, I mean, I guess that is the detail.
Yeah,
And
that's fair.
the course of our investigation was that it was not Mr. Stoner that saw it. It was the student aide that says that she saw it.
Okay,
And that
so-
no one else saw Noah do it.
Yeah, that's
why
fine.
there was
And-
no consequence.
Yeah, okay, that's great. So at the end of the day,
And I
that's
was
fine.
working with
But this
Mr.
guy
Gallagher.
called me and called the kid's parents and said that he saw Noah do it. Okay? That's the bottom line. So let's not talk about this. Oh, he might have said that. They might have said that. He called people outside and slandered my kid as a racist. Okay, so now
And
what?
I understand that you're
Okay,
upset. I was
okay.
addressing the part in your email where
Yep,
you said
okay,
no
that's
one
fine.
called
Like
you.
I said, that's
So
cool.
I was trying
Yeah.
to address that part as
Okay.
you asked. And
Yeah.
in terms of when it comes to how we deal with school personnel, just like with students,
Yeah.
with student privacy, I can't sit here and tell you any disciplinary action.
Oh,
or
that's fine.
conversations
He's a
that we have
public
with our
employee. I
staff.
can FOIA the shit out of everything. I'm not worried about that. He's a public employee, so anything he uses for communication, you know, the fact he brings in personal laptops, stuff like that, that can all be FOIA'd very easily. So you can say, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. He's a public employee. I'm his employer. And my son,
Correct?
yes, that is correct.
I
So,
have
okay, that's cool.
So I'm calling and I'm trying to answer your question.
Yeah,
so
I
understand why
understand.
you're yelling and getting upset with me.
Because my kid, some
But I
teacher
didn't
called
do
me and
anything.
said my kid said some other kid, his buddy, was a nigger on a board. Okay? You want to know why I'm upset, really? Is that your question? Why I'm upset?
It's when I know why you're upset. I just don't understand why you're yelling at me when I'm trying to call you. You had written an email and you wanted a response, is my assumption.
Okay. Yeah, no, I said go ahead. That's cool. I get it. I get what you're trying to say.
To have a conversation about your email,
Yep.
to give you and hopefully answer some of your questions. But if you want to yell at me, I cannot continue the conversation when I'm trying to speak to you.
Listen, I'm not
because I do
10 years old or
understand.
12 years old.
I
Again,
never said you
you
were.
guys did this. You guys, not me.
Sir,
Yep.
there is one person that made a statement about your son, and no one else has corroborated that or has spread that statement around the school.
All right, so let's talk about how are we going to deal with the statement since it's been unfounded, right? Who did it?
That's
Not my son. And this guy said he saw him. So that's what I'm worried about.
and so we are dealing with that employee, and that is something that I am not. It was not within our rights to share with you of how we deal. with
You
that
work for me. He works for me.
Then you can go do a public records request for that information. But
I
it does
will.
not include employee personnel files.
That's why I included the employee personnel lady on the email. So, okay, cool.
Well, then I will forward it to the correct one because you didn't pick the right one.
Well, thank you for the help. I really appreciate it.
Sure. So, in the meantime, Noah, you said Dean Gallagher was the only one to advocate for him. He worked very closely with him. I was the one that suggested the change and changed Noah's schedule for him to make sure it
Okay.
was a class that he
Well,
liked.
please communicate with me on these things. If you're advocating for Noah, then I appreciate it. Up to this point, I only have one advocate, one person that has been cool with me on the phone and hasn't tried to stonewall or gaslight me. And that's
I
it.
didn't realize I did that in the meeting with you.
You know what my problem with the meeting was? Is you were like, oh, gee, I don't know what's going on. And then it was like, oh, yeah, my assistant talked to the guy. And then you were at the end of the meeting, you were like, oh yeah, I talked to him, but I don't really know what's going on. So it's like, I understand what you guys are doing. It's corporate, government, red tape, protectionary type stuff, and that's
Okay, sir.
cool. I get it. But
No, it's not. I was speaking to a parent that came in and was upset, and I wasn't going to assume things. And tell
okay,
you, oh,
yeah, that's fair. No, like I
But
said, that's
fine.
fair.
You can assume things you want about me. That's fine.
Well, I mean, I would
We had one
imagine.
conversation, sir, and I made sure that it got found to the bottom of it, and that
Yeah,
no one
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
given a consequence.
Yeah, and you were
straight
cool.
up.
I didn't say you were against Noah. I didn't. I didn't say anything directly about you. I said Dean Gallagher was an advocate for Noah. And he was. And I haven't heard any others. You were indifferent, right? Did you say, oh yeah, let me make sure? No, you just
I
said,
know that I
blah,
wanted
blah,
to
blah.
make sure.
So how are
I did
you
want to
how are
make
you
sure it was-
saying anything? You've been indifferent. What do you care if I say you're an advocate or not? You're saying you've been indifferent,
You're telling
right?
me I'm corporate and I'm this, and you know how we operate. I'm here for kids, and I want to make sure.
Okay,
that
well,
one-
that's cool. Good. That's awesome. And that's cool. I appreciate
And that's why I
that.
wanted to get to the bottom of it with
Yeah.
Noah, and as soon as possible, and that it was. That's why on the
Yeah.
backside of it, I'm not okay with what happened, and that
Good.
Mr. Stoner shouldn't have called anybody.
I know, that's crazy shit, right? I mean, really, that's at the crux of the thing.
Us,
Yeah, dude.
as admin, we should have investigated it and then
Yes.
been the one to call.
Yes.
That is the problem that we are dealing with on our end. Because
Yeah,
that is where
yeah.
the problem came
And-
from.
and here's
so
the
I'm acknowledging to you that that is the problem. Because
Yeah,
that's
I
the
agree. That's the problem.
residuals of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. This guy thinks me and my kid and my family are a bunch of racists because we're his supposed friend is writing crazy stuff on some super duper loving Christmas board about him. You know, Stoner called that guy and told him, oh yeah, by the way, I watched this kid write this on the board, this disgusting thing about your son. That's devastating. Now we're not even talking about the psychological effects to Noah getting accused of this, having to deal with all this. This guy nailed the shit out of my son for no reason because he doesn't want him in his class. You guys don't see that? I mean, come on. And here's the problem. What he did is disgusting in nature. The fact he's doing it to a 12-year-old and then spreading it around publicly is absolutely gross. And I said that to begin with. You know? And that's what it comes down to. This guy's a menace. He did this to 12-year-old kids, not just 12-year-old kids, 12-year-old kids with learning disabilities that he's supposed to be helping. So come on. I mean, you want to know why I'm pissed and why I have this stance. It's not necessarily
No, I
against you.
understand.
It's against the situation. And I'm just very, very upset about this. This is going on for weeks. And to ultimately have it come down to that answer, it's unfounded. How can a teacher accusing a 12-year-old kid all of a sudden have it be unfounded? And not for nothing, that girl came up to our daughter and asked, did your son do that? So I have a feeling when you dig into that a little bit more, things are going to come out as well.
So I apologize that it wasn't clarified to you. The unfounded wasn't about the unfounded was in relation to. We found that it was unfounded that Noah didn't like. The accusation against Noah was unfounded. There is no evidence to say that he did that.
So why
that's
they
the
call
piece that was
parents?
unfounded.
That's crazy.
But I'm saying that's the piece that was unfounded.
Yeah.
The other piece that we are dealing with as administrators with our employee is how he handled the situation, and then
Yeah, if he doesn't get fired,
that.
it's going to become very, very public. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. And I do not have a problem. I've had issues with St. John's a couple times. And you know what? I've been very cool about it. But this is above and beyond. You know, come on. We're talking about a 12-year-old kid and a 50-year-old guy. It's just so crazy. This dude should not be around children after something like this being so obvious, and I know he gets complaints. You know, so I know you can't, I'm just giving you my feeling. I know you can't respond. I know it's a, at the end of the day, that makes it absolutely insane just because, again, he's out there calling parents and he's creating all these situations, not just for me, not just, more importantly, for Noah and Jaden, but for everyone, all of us. This fucking guy, it's crazy. Who is this guy? Who thinks he can call me and the kids' parents with no just because he wanted to? That doesn't sound right, but that was the action that he took, and that's where my main problem lies. That's why I'm not, like I said, I'm pissed. I'm really pissed. I'm not pissed at you. I'm definitely not pissed at Dean Gallagher or Noah or any of the other people involved. I'm really pissed at this stoner guy and exactly for the creation or for the situation he created, which is, again, just gross. And that's it. So what it comes down to is I just don't want it to get dropped. It's very important to me that this is properly handled, okay? And like I said, there's criminal stuff that happened here. You realize that, right? Like true criminal. When both in the statements being made, so if you want to look at it from a racist perspective, slander. I mean, come on, he called the kid's parents against a 12-year-old and released all kinds of public information to the point this fucking guy doesn't even want to talk to me or my son because we're racists. So we're talking about true laws being broken against juveniles. And we're not talking about the effect on this Jaden kid. So that's where it's insanity to me. And I just want to make sure that we are, I want to be on the same page with you guys. Again, this comes down to the success of Noah and the fact that this happened to this poor kid and his buddy Jaden how he's going to remember for this for the rest of his life. He got accused of being racist against his buddy by his teacher. It's so detrimental. It's such a huge impact. And this dude did it. This stoner guy did it without a thought, without a care. He didn't care. What repercussion could he possibly face? It's a kid. He wants him out of his class. That type of behavior is abhorrent. And there's in my mind, there is no solution other than criminal. I'm pissed. And you see, it's not me trying to be a jerk. And I don't mean to come off. I love everything in this world is my kids. Everything I do is for my kids. And Noah is my youngest, and it's hard because I feel disconnected, and we've had conversations, and if you look back through 504 and the IEPs, all that stuff, you'll see I'm trying constantly, I just don't know how to crack it. So these type of things, I feel like kind of all the work that everyone is trying so hard to accomplish with this kid that is struggling, something like this happens, and oh my God, how can he process it in his head? That's why we need an immediate apology to Jaden, to Noah, and with his parents being known, and really getting Sophie involved in all this nonsense, both directly and indirectly, conversations around Noah prior to this, and then the student aide coming up to her and asking, did your brother write that on the board? It's just so weird. It's so, and this guy is just creating this spider web of lies and bullshit. And at the center of it is my son. My son. And
I understand.
Yeah.
I do as a parent, I completely understand.
Yeah, so imagine if it was your kid that this happened to. You would be probably flipping out just as bad as me. I mean, I might seem very emotional, and it's because I am. I love my kids. I love them to death. They're the most important thing to me in the world. That's why I'm in St. Johns County. This is the best county as far as schools are concerned. And I'm not having that experience coming out of Clay County, Fleming Island area. My daughter, did wonderful over there, and my older son started over there. Anyways, it's just, I just want my children to succeed, and Noah's my last one. If I get him taken care of, Sophie and Noah are the two young ones. All the older kids are good. and headed down a good path. So it's super important to me. I feel like I'm getting close to the point I can actually take a breath. I just have to be able to get these guys through, so that's why, again, this is so important. And I'm so hyper focused on Noah and what's happening to him, and how to help him. All of these little things just become very, very large and a bit scary, if you will. When I get a call like that my kid's, writing disgusting nonsense. We don't talk like that. Why would he write like that? It's a very, very shocking. And for the past, until last Friday, I'm flipping out, wondering when the cops are going to show up on my front door because, your kid made a hate speech remark. They show up on the internet if you post the wrong thing on Facebook. So, something like this is huge. And imagine what we as a family have been thinking and going through and trying to traverse, let alone Noah, let alone Jaden. This kid thinks, and this guy thinks we as a community are a bunch of scumbag racists. You know why? Because some little bratty kid would write that on the Christmas love board. Yeah, which probably didn't even happen at all. It sounds like it's a total, is there a picture of the supposed stuff? You know what I'm saying? And what does it matter? Here's my problem. I didn't speak that. Noah didn't speak that. This dude Stoner spoke it. It doesn't matter who saw it. He's the one that initiated it. He said Noah did this very specific act that again is criminal. Okay, you want to know why I'm freaking? You know why I want to show up there that afternoon? Because I wanted to try and get in front of anything, because my son's not a racist and neither are we. And I don't want to be perceived that way. And I don't think anybody does, because it's such a stupid, shitty thing that keeps our society in such a bad place. We as a generation don't need to be continuing this. And that guy Stoner did for us. He made all of us look like a bunch of shit asses. And that's what sucks, I didn't do it. I didn't put it in anybody's mouth. He's the only one. He put it in his mouth. He put it in our mouths. He put it in the student aide's mouth. He's the one. So I mean, there's a lot of very principled type things we're talking through here that just bring this to such a crazy level. I'm just shocked again that this guy would think it would be okay to do this. That's the really craziest part, right? I'm not a liar though. I pride myself on being very honest, and I tell my kids all the time, the one thing you can do is cover your ass. So, and the way you do that is don't lie. Even if you screw up, don't lie. Then what? Because then they have nothing on you. This whole thing is because of a lie. This whole situation. So and the guy lied to me in the first 10 seconds talking to him. Well, not 10. I let him rant for a little while and let him get to the point where he's like, I don't even want Noah in my class. And I said, maybe that's the problem. We talked about that. Maybe that's the problem. Oh, no, gee, I said Noah doesn't want to be in my... Come on, man. I don't have hearing problems. Even if I do, I heard that very clearly. So that's where I'm coming from. It's really bad when you think about it from if you want to talk about it again from family perspective all the way out to communal. How many people did this guy go and tell? Yeah, you want to hear something crazy? Yeah, this kid wrote, my kid's a black monkey and an N-word on a Christmas tree board. How many people is he telling about that? About my family, that's not true. So you see how this web just continues, and it's I don't know what to do. I know what I can do, and I know what, but I know I ultimately what I'm looking is to get a resolution for Noah, and Jaden. And ourselves at this point. He pulled us all into this, dumbass. That guy's such an idiot. He's really an idiot if he thought this was the way to do this. Jesus. I'm just shocked. I'm shocked.
I completely understand, and it is shocking. So that's the way to feel.
good. Well, thank you. And that's it. I'm just looking for some validation. I don't want to be told, all the nonsense. I get it. And I completely understand. I just want to know that people are understanding where we're coming from and taking no one into account of this. And Jaden, these guys, they don't need. And Sophie, really, why is she being pulled into this? She's a straight A student.
I'm not sure why that would have happened.
Yeah, right, exactly. So you can see, and whatever I can do to help you guys, and to help Noah, and to help the school. I don't want to be, Noah Ross, nobody say anything, nobody do anything. That's the last thing, because his dad and mom are going to freak out and blah, blah, blah. I just want to get a very egregious crime resolved that was committed against my family, my son, including my son, and this other family as well, So that's really, and whatever I can do to help that and be part of that, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm looking to accomplish at this point,
Yeah.
So, yeah, and thank you for calling. And I mean, we sit here, like I said, we've been stuck in this thing for the past 2 weeks, just churning this through our heads. What in the world? And the fact that came up with the unfounded and all that, it was, then this weekend turns into something different, right? Because, and I don't want to deal with this. It's almost Christmas. It's the holidays. Geez, we have, year end at work is crazy. They're just the standard things, trying to get everybody all taken care of for the holidays. This is not what I want to be dealing with. I don't think anybody does, right? So.
No, but no, I understand. And, I mean, the good news is we got Noah out, and I think he's in the class that he's going to be a lot more, he'll get a lot more out of it. He won't walk in there anxious every day, kind of on eggshells, feeling like he's going to get yelled at, teacher doesn't like him, teacher might lie on him. So I think it'll be better for him in that sense, so he won't have to worry about seeing Mr. Stoner again. On our end, we are dealing with the employee.
Okay.
That I've already been in, I've already met with him once, and we're not done. So we are doing things on our end that are dealing with there was a number of issues with that whole situation that we're not good with, and that are not how our employees should be acting. Okay. So on our end, we are dealing with that.
Thank you for taking it seriously. I do appreciate that. I do.
I mean, again, it's not something I apologize that you feel that it wasn't something that we were taking lightly. We weren't.
Yeah.
It was, one, it was the timing, but two, I also wanted to make sure, this is serious. We're going to get to the bottom of it either way.
Yeah.
And then, so the unfounded was meaning that Noah didn't write it. It wasn't saying that Mr. Stoner didn't do anything wrong. But that's what, yes, we're dealing with.
Okay. Yeah. Well, somebody made an accusation of a crime. It was unfounded. That means the person that made the accusation is the one on the hook, because it's just like any legal process. It's like getting arrested, right? So same exact thing. And I understand that. And now that you guys have finished the investigation, I guess I just want to again I'm here to help in any way possible. And also, I just wanted to, again, kind of reiterate that I feel like this has created a huge spider web, and I just want to make sure, like Jaden and his family get addressed as part of this. Somebody reaches out to them, because as of today, right now, my kid is a racist, and we're a racist family, and that's not cool.
And I know that Dean Gallagher, he has been in contact
with thank goodness.
The day that we got back from break.
Yeah.
We spoke to you the day before break. Dean Gallagher spoke with Jaden Stead the day we got back from break, and then I know he called him at the end of toward the end of last week as well to follow up.
Okay,
so
wonderful.
We have been in contact. So we definitely, I made sure that everyone, we kind of cover all the bases, and it wasn't just about Noah.
Yeah,
I
right.
Make sure that Jaden's dad family was hearing from us too. So we definitely been in touch with everybody.
Yeah, because the last I heard, I had tried to give Noah my phone number, and this was late last week. week to give to Jaden so his father could reach out to me, and he had said, no, my dad doesn't want to talk to your dad. He thinks you guys are racist. So that was from the horse's mouth, if you will. So that is just why it's so important to me that his dad somebody lets him know what the situation is, and it sounds like you have. So thank you for that.
Yes,
like
and
I said,
I will also ask Dean Gallagher that I know that he said he called, and I know he left a message.
Yeah.
With Jaden's dad, he didn't speak to him because he told me he spoke to him for at least like 20-25 minutes.
Yeah.
Earlier in the week,
Yeah.
but I know he called. He said he left a message, was going to try and call back because he wanted to speak to him.
Yes.
So I'll just double and see if he has to kind of reiterate
wonderful.
that it was unfounded.
Just Noah didn't do it. Yeah, that's because these guys are buddies. On top of it, that's why it really sucks. And then again, it's such a Noah is not a racist by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, it's just I don't even I'm so shocked about it. If you knew background and blah blah blah, it would make more sense. But we're not a. That's why it was very, very abrasive and insulting, to me, because it's something that I pride our family on.
Right, of course.
And have for a lot longer than it's been cool. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's one of the most foolish, stupid, imbecilic things you could possibly ever. It's like I know you are, but what am I? It's just a foolish, shitty way for people to argue and communicate. So if I and that's why I was very pissed at Noah to begin with, because it would be I would be more creative at least.
Right.
I mean, and then let's address the actual what in the hell. Where did that come from? Type questions. So, yeah. But anyways, thank you. I do appreciate it. Anything. I'm just going to kind of sit here and wait and whatever you guys can supply and whatever I need to go in FOIA or whatever, that's fine. It's, and again, anything I can do, just please let me know and just keep me abreast of the situation. Jaden's parents understand that type of stuff. I don't think that would be, considering the situation that we're in, I don't necessarily have to talk to the guy. I just want to know that he doesn't think my kid's a racist and hate him, or our school or our town. It's a weird,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's just crazy, right? So yeah, and again, I did not call you out specifically other than to say I met with you because you were indifferent. Okay, so that's why, yeah.
And so the only reason I was just because you had said about I know how governments, and I'm honestly I'm here for the kids, and so my thing is that I was trying to be indifferent because I didn't know anything either way. So I wasn't.
That's awesome. Thank you, by the way. That's awesome.
That's all it was.
Yeah. Okay. That's what, that totally explains it, and thank you. Thank you for being an advocate, and thank you for calling and listening to me, because I am pissed. So I imagine you guys are drawing straws, right? Who wants to talk to him? So, yeah, thank you. And again, just whatever I can do and just keep me abreast to the things that you can. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. So thank you. Thank you for the response. And yeah, just let me know, what I can do or what's going on. And that's cool. I'll step back and as long as you're advocating for the kids, I'm on your side. You see, that's it. It's that simple for me. Are you a friend or a foe? And your interactions with the kids is what dictates that for me. So
correct. I really I advocate for them, and I want them to grow and understand that you're in middle school, and so while you aren't always perfect, the mistakes you make don't have to last forever. You can grow from them. And, it's not about giving discipline. I don't believe in punishment.
Yeah.
I believe in consequences that you learn from.
Yes.
And that you can reflect on. So
right.
That's kind of,
me too.
Experience. So.
Right. And if this would have been the other way and it would have been found that Noah did do it, or I that first day he came home, he had a different look on his face and I knew he was lying, then you have to understand I would be extremely embarrassed, and advocating is hard for Jaden in that case. You know what I'm saying? it's the action is so ridiculous. That's why I actually got to a point where I was like, man, if Noah did this, he is. This is a time when he would have to, potentially he go and stay with his mother, or possibly look at some sort of military type school or something, because it would be so egregious. That is crossing the line. We can struggle with classwork and learning disabilities and whatnot, but when you start doing like racist, mean stuff, that's unacceptable. And I would never accept that. As a father, as as a human, I wouldn't accept that. I really hate bullying. I hate it. I'm a big guy. You see, I'm a big guy, and so people always assume that I'm bullying, but typically I'm responding to something happening. So I'm all fired up. Oh, you're a big guy, you're scared. But it's because somebody just accused my son of, you know what I'm saying? I hate bullying. I hate people messing with people. And that's what I feel like this is. That's why we went the direction we did with the bullying forum, because it is repeated, because it's valid. This is a 50-year-old guy bullying a 12-year-old, So yes, that's just to let you know, I am very, very anti-bullying, and always have been. Always have been. So it's just I feel, as bigger people, and I've told this to my kids too, if we're bigger than the guys around us, we're not bullies, we're protectors. We're protectors of these folks that are smaller than us, because we have an advantage. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a theme for our family. Don't do that. So that's why I'm so reactionary as well. Just to be transparent.
No, and I appreciate and understand that.
Yeah. Well, okay. Again, I really appreciate the call and listening. You listening to me rant. Yeah, and I'll just wait for your guys' follow up. Is that cool? Or if you need anything from me anytime, please reach out.
Yes, absolutely will.
Okay. Well, great. Well, you have a good day, and thank you for listening. Thank you for understanding. And I look forward to talking to you guys again. We'll get it figured out. And now I'm feeling a little bit better. I feel like people are actually backing Noah up. So yeah, thank you. Again, thank you. I do appreciate that very, very much.
You're welcome, Mr. Ross.
Okay. Well, hey, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks. You too, Mr. Ross.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.